Hey guys, this is Steve Rosati. I'm checking in with you again with Bass Musician Magazine. This week I am bringing you topics of the acoustic bass guitar. Whether it's a pin bridge or an arch top, kind of like this guy right here. This is my Bobby Vega Tom Rebecki Halfling. Bring that guy in there so you can see what I'm talking about. With the acoustic, it's always a lot of work. You have to maintain humidity. It's like any acoustic. If you own an acoustic guitar, you understand what I'm talking about. Maintaining the humidity is always an ongoing struggle, just like with the upright bass, as we can see in the back. Got one of those kind of hanging out there. But you're always dealing with humidity. You're always dealing with temperature. As you're moving an instrument back and forth from outdoor to indoor, maintaining the humidity, maintaining the overall integrity of the instrument is a little bit more difficult, especially depending on where you live and what part of the country or the world you are. For me, I live in the Northeast, so humidity is always an ongoing struggle because in the summer it's way too humid, and in the winter it's way too dry. So as you can see in the background, you can see some humidity, some of the moisture rising up into the air. I have a humidifier running from basically the end of October to the beginning of April. I do this to keep my instruments in top condition, whether it's the acoustics or if it's my solid body instrument. Humidity is always great for the fingerboard, whether you're using just rubbing and putting oil into the fingerboard or you're running a humidifier. Always a good idea. So with that, when we look at this instrument, some of the things like with a pin bridge, it's a little bit more difficult for feedback to kind of manipulate and stop that. I mean, you can use compression, but at that point, you're kind of compressing the overall signal of the bass, which you really want. So with this, one of the things that you can look at is when you're looking into an arch top is how are you going to stop it from vibrating on the back end? Because if you can see where the bridge is, the string's going to vibrate like it would normally in front of that, like on your electric. But on the acoustic, you have this area back here that's going to also vibrate coming up from the tailpiece. Depending on how the tailpiece is mounted, you should have a little bit of room to stuff a piece of foam, studio foam or something in there to kind of prevent this from vibrating on the backside. In louder conditions, I've actually used the Groove Gear Thump. Normally it's used for muting the strings on the front side, but believe it or not, on the back side, it's also great because it still does prevent that vibration, especially depending on how acoustic the bass is. This one is currently plugged in. I have it plugged into my PJB briefcase. But if I unplug, if I put it acoustically, you'll hear that the bass is actually pretty loud for an acoustic, which means that the feedback ratio is going to be a lot higher on this, just like on upright basses. That's why Ks amplify better than an old Italian carved top. This is going to have a similar issues. So when you're thinking about that, when you're going out looking for it, you have to think to yourself, am I going to amplify this in a really loud situation, but I still want that light body, that big body. I think of that Warwick bass, the Jonas Hellborg bass. That is a big bass with a light body, but it's actually set up to be an electric guitar versus the acoustic. So it doesn't really have the same feedback issues that this bass will. Or even the Federas. The Federas are, it's a bigger body. It does produce some of those frequencies, but it's not the same as an arch top or a true pin bridge. With that, I also brought my Takamine into this, so that you can kind of see both ends of the spectrum. Now this bass is going to be more fluid like an electric, but with that big tone. Whereas the Takamine's more along the lines of an electric upright. Next up is the Takamine TB10. I brought out two arch tops of varying styles. This one is based more off of an electric upright. You have the sound, the end pin here if you want to play it as an upright. Still has the chunky bridge, chunky tailpiece, big thick neck like more of an upright. This bass has that sound to it. So if you're looking for that real upright sound in an electric, this is it. This is what I use in those situations where I need that upright tone and I don't want to drag out Big Bertha in the back. And I just want to kind of go in and out with something simple and easy. This bass definitely embiggens that role with the piezo pickup. Piezo pickup and cool tube preamp kind of together give this bass a very warm, upright, thuddy sound. It just has that air to it that you find with an acoustic. Now, the thing about this instrument, though, is acoustically, it's a little challenged versus the Rebecca, which has a great acoustic sound. This one, you have to amplify. You wouldn't go to a gig and just walk in and expect to play without an amp. Be that as it may, it has advantages. So some of the advantages are that because it isn't as acoustic, it doesn't feed back as readily as the Rebecca, which I always have to worry about in a loud situation of it feeding back. This one has a little bit more stamina with that versus the other bass. Now you still have to watch out for the tailpiece because the tailpiece will vibrate over certain frequencies, especially depending on how close to your amp you're standing. Now with this, I still stuck a piece of foam. If you look right here, you can see there's foam underneath that tailpiece. That's one of the best moves that you'll make if with any acoustic instrument. Get a piece of foam, put it under there, cut your feedback. Now in a really loud situation, now not on this bass because the radius is more like an upright, but on the Rebecca or on my other bass, I can slip my thump inside there to actually help to kind of kill some of the vibrations on the back end. The other deal with these things is that they come with huge cases. Finding a gig bag for an acoustic is very difficult. I would recommend instead of trying to shop around and find one that fits, get in touch with a company like ProBag. They will actually make a case for your instrument. You send them the basically the specs of the instrument, how long, how deep, how wide, and they will turn around and get you a case. Their turnaround was about 3 weeks. They made one for me. They made one for a student of mine with the same bass. Turnaround was no problem. Case was beautiful. I recommend them highly. So, acoustics, essentially, if you're going to go that route, it's like anything else. You got to put some time into it. Do your research. Not every bass is going to fit every person, and you know, with the Takamine came like an upright, no dots anywhere. I had to have all the dots put in and had set up the way that I wanted it. But you know, once you find what you like and you run with it, you'll find something pretty amazing. So you can pretty much build the instrument that you want. Now, again, finding that acoustic sound is not easy. So you're going to have to do some research, play a lot of basses. There are some beautiful bass manufacturers out there who make some incredible instruments. Harvey Citron is one. His acoustics are amazing. Viet makes an incredible instrument as well as somebody like Jersey Drozd makes an incredible instrument as well. Some of them are a little bit wider, thicker basses, like the Swallow bass is incredibly wide and sounds amazing. But it's just research because just like anything, it's perspective and opinion. For me, these basses have worked great, and you know, between the Rebecca and the Takamine, I found a whole niche that these instruments work for and sound great. So hopefully you guys experiment and let me know if you have any feedback or if you have any experiments of your own. We'd love to hear about it and see where you're going with it. You know, because that's a whole different color palette. All right, be well and peace, love, and low notes.